Don't touch that seat. People like you don't get to make a mess in the front cabin. Vanessa Lorne's voice sliced through the aisle like a blade, loud, polished, dripping with disgust. Her manicured hand shot out, stopping Marcus Hale and his daughters before they could even settle in. Her smile was beautiful. Her tone was poison. Passengers looked up, some curious, some uneasy. The triplets, Maya, Milan, and Miri, shrank back behind their father's legs. Marcus offered a calm nod. "We're assigned 14A through C." Vanessa scoffed, eyes gliding over his NASA jacket like it was street trash. "Cute. Little costume jacket? Or did you borrow it?" The sarcasm hit the girls first. Maya's brow furrowed. "It's real," she whispered. Vanessa leaned down to their level, her voice tightening with contempt. "Sweetheart, adults are talking, and on my plane, you sit where I tell you, not where you pretend you belong." Marcus inhaled steadily. "Ma'am, these are our assigned seats. Can you tell me what the issue is?" Vanessa straightened, rolling her eyes so dramatically the passengers behind her exchanged looks. "The issue?" She laughed, a cold, mocking laugh. "The issue is that some families don't understand boundaries." Her gaze sharpened on the girls. "And some parents don't know how to keep their little chaos makers in check." Milan clutched Marcus's hand. "Daddy, we didn't do anything." Vanessa cut her off with a raised finger. "One word from you, and you're all moving to the back. I've seen this before. Loud, messy, undisciplined. Then, through clenched teeth, I'm not babysitting a pack of little problems today." Marcus's jaw tightened. "They're quiet children. We just boarded." "Sure, and I'm the Queen of England." Vanessa snapped. Her eyes swept over his jacket again, the NASA patch catching the overhead lights. "This isn't Comic-Con, darling. We don't cosplay astronauts in economy," passengers murmured. A woman in 13D whispered, "Why is she talking to them like that?" Marcus tried again, steady but firm. "Ma'am, please lower your voice." Vanessa stepped closer, invading his space, towering in her heels, smiling like a predator. "Oh, you'll know when I'm loud. I'm being professional right now, because I deal with all kinds on these flights. I know when someone's trying to act above their pay grade." The insult was aimed with sniper precision. Marcus felt his daughters stiffen beside him. He kept his voice low. "We're just trying to sit in our assigned seats." "Assigned seats?" Vanessa snorted. "Please, that's hilarious. You think you walk on this plane and just fit? Seats up here cost money, real money, not whatever budget scrap you used to buy those bargain bin tickets." Miri blinked hard as tears formed. "We didn't do anything." Vanessa's expression twisted into a cruel smirk. "Oh, look, one of them is already crying. Great, exactly what I expected." Marcus stepped in front of his daughters. "That's enough. We haven't caused any disturbance." Vanessa tilted her head, voice dropping into something venomous. "Disturbance? You exist in the wrong section of the plane. That's disturbance enough." Passengers gasped aloud at that one. Someone muttered, "What the hell did she just say?" But Vanessa didn't care. She felt untouchable. She snapped her fingers sharply, a gesture so demeaning it made Marcus's stomach twist. "You, and the 3 little fingerprints waiting to happen. Move. Back row, next to the bathroom. That's where I put families who can't manage themselves." Marcus's voice finally hardened. "We are not moving. You cannot discriminate." She cut him off with an icy laugh. "Discriminate? Oh, don't flatter yourself. I'm simply maintaining order. And trust me, I've seen a certain type walk on board and ruin flights before. I can spot it instantly." The phrasing was unmistakable. Everyone knew what she meant. Coded, cruel, racial. Marcus clenched his fists, not in anger, but in restraint. He lowered himself to meet his daughter's eyes. "It's okay. Just breathe. Daddy's here." But Vanessa wasn't done. She leaned in again, her voice dripping with a smile made of needles. "Look at them. 3 identical little headaches. Did you have them for attention? Or is it a buy-2-get-one free situation? Maya gasped softly. Milan looked like she'd collapse. Miri grabbed Marcus's hand so tightly her knuckles turned white. Marcus whispered, "Don't listen to her." Vanessa's eyes gleamed with satisfaction. She enjoyed the pain she caused. "If you don't move right now, I'm calling airport security before we even push back. And I'll tell them you're aggressive. That's usually enough. People believe me. Every time." Marcus froze. That wasn't a threat. It was a weapon she used often. He could see it in her smile. The girls trembled. Passengers watched, recording, whispering, horrified. And Vanessa? She smoothed a hand over her perfect bun and delivered the final cut. "Now, are you walking to the back on your own? Or do I have to remind you that this airline doesn't tolerate people who don't know their place?" Psalm 9:9 NIV. The Lord is a refuge for the oppressed, a stronghold in times of trouble. As Marcus gathered his trembling daughters close, this verse becomes the unseen anchor beneath the storm, a quiet reminder that dignity does not disappear just because someone tries to take it. If you have ever felt looked down on, talked down to, or treated like you didn't belong, then what happens next with Dr. Marcus Hale and his 3 daughters will make your heart burn with righteous fire. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay with Dignity Voices to follow their journey toward justice and grace. But just when Marcus thought the humiliation was over, Vanessa was only getting started. The aisle felt colder as Marcus guided his daughters toward the back of the plane. Vanessa didn't walk behind them. She herded them, like pushing shadows with her presence. "Move faster. We're delaying departure because of you people." Her voice carried down the cabin, sharp and humiliating. Passengers watched with a mix of disbelief and silent guilt. A few looked like they wanted to intervene, but fear chained them to their seats. Maya clung to Marcus's sleeve. "Daddy, why is she being so mean? We didn't do anything." Marcus tried to smile for her sake, though his heart was aching. Sometimes people act wrong because something is broken inside them, but we stay who we are. Vanessa heard it. She scoffed loudly. "Oh, please! The fake philosophy routine? Save it for the inspirational posters in your break room." Marcus didn't respond. He kept moving. Halfway down the aircraft, Vanessa clicked her heels faster and stepped past him. She stopped abruptly, blocking his path and forcing his daughters to stumble. "Whoa, careful!" She glared at the girls as if they were toddlers bumping into fine china. "I swear you 3 are like spilled glue, always getting underfoot." Milan's voice cracked. "We're sorry." "Stop apologizing, it's annoying." Vanessa rolled her eyes. "Honestly, I would have seated you outside if this plane had a roof rack." Marcus inhaled sharply. Even for her, that was vicious. A man in 17C whispered to his wife, "This is out of line." The wife nudged him, worried. "Don't get involved. She looks like she'd ruin our whole trip." Vanessa marched on, flipping open a storage compartment and pulling out a handful of cleaning wipes. "Here, since your little trio can't keep their drinks in their cups, maybe they can wipe something for a change." Miri's eyes reddened. "We're not bad kids," she whispered. Vanessa smirked. "Well, the jury's still out, isn't it?" Marcus stepped between her and his daughters. "That's enough. You are out of line." Her eyes glinted. She loved this. She loved the power. "Sir, the only thing out of line is your attitude. And trust me, if I report you, everyone here will believe me before they believe a man who can barely manage his own children." A hush fell. That threat, that familiar weapon, hit like a blow. Marcus's jaw tightened. "Just tell us where to sit." Vanessa's lips curled into a triumphant smile. "Last row, seats 30E, F, and G, right in front of the bathroom. Perfect for families who need extra supervision." She stretched the words extra supervision, letting the humiliation drip slow. Passengers continued watching, pity now turning into a restless discomfort. As they approached the last row, Vanessa suddenly snapped, "Stop!" Marcus paused. Vanessa leaned over Maya, sniffing the air dramatically. "Is that hair product?" "Oh, fantastic. So we get the mess and the smell." She gestured around theatrically. "Everyone in the back, brace yourselves." Maya's face fell into her hands. She was mortified. Marcus's voice dropped into something cold and steady. "You will not speak to my daughters like that." "Oh, are you finally growing a spine? Perfect. Then listen closely." She leaned in, close enough Marcus could smell her perfume, sweet and poisonous. "I've been doing this job for 10 years. I know who causes problems on flights. And guess what? It's always the ones who swear they're innocent, the ones who pretend they're professionals." Her eyes flicked to his NASA jacket. "If you're a pilot, then I'm a supermodel." She straightened, brushing imaginary dust from her uniform. "Sit down and keep your little trio quiet. If one of them squeals, cries, or breathes too loud, I'm writing you up and having security escort you off the plane before you even blink." Marcus said nothing, because there was nothing to say that wouldn't make it worse for his daughters. They sat. The girl squeezed beside him, trembling. The air smelled of disinfectant and bathroom fumes. Vanessa stepped forward to close the curtain to the galley, but before disappearing, she turned back for one final lash. "Oh, and try not to touch anything up here. Some passengers actually paid to be on this flight." She pulled the curtain with a dramatic snap. It was only fabric, but it felt like a wall slamming into place. The girls huddled close. Miri whispered, "Daddy, are we in trouble?" Marcus wrapped an arm around them. "No. Baby, no. You didn't do anything wrong. Sometimes people hurt others because they think it makes them powerful. But we don't break. We stay together." He kissed each forehead, one by one. Their small hands gripped his. But across the aisle, a teenage boy already had his phone out, recording and uploading. Within minutes, the first video of Vanessa's behavior hit social media. Within minutes, it reached thousands. Before this plane even touched the ground, truth was already taking flight. The plane had been in the air less than 15 minutes when disaster found the Hale family. Maya, Milan, and Miri were trying their best to stay perfectly still. Their backpacks were zipped, their hands folded, their tiny legs tucked under them. They wanted to disappear into the seats. But turbulence jolted the cabin. A small apple juice cup, balanced on Marcus's tray, tipped and rolled onto Milan's lap. A splash hit the floor. Milan gasped. I didn't mean to. Daddy, I'm sorry." "It's okay," Marcus whispered. "Accidents happen." He reached for napkins. The curtain snapped open like a whip. Vanessa Lorne marched down the aisle, her heels stabbing the floor with each step. "Seriously? I give you one simple instruction. Keep things clean. But no, you people always find a way to turn a seat into a disaster zone." Her voice exploded through the row. Passengers turned instantly. Marcus kept his tone steady. "I'm cleaning it now." "Oh no, sweetie, you're not cleaning anything. You're making excuses." She pointed at Milan. "Look at her, little Miss Sticky Fingers." Milan's chin wobbled. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean for—" "Enough. I told you earlier, I'm not babysitting." Vanessa yanked a stack of wipes from her cart and slapped them onto Marcus's lap. Marcus inhaled slowly. Deep, controlled breaths. He'd dealt with hostile supervisors, condescending commanders, and arrogant engineers, but none of them had ever attacked his family. He bent down to wipe the floor. That's when Vanessa grabbed Milan's arm. "Get up. If you can't stay dry for 10 minutes, you don't get to sit. You stand. All three of you." Marcus shot up instantly. "Don't touch my daughter." "Oh, please. Someone has to. You clearly can't manage them." Milan twisted, trying to pull away, but Vanessa tightened her grip, nails digging into the child's skin. Maya stood up, frightened. "Stop! Don't hurt her!" Vanessa spun toward her with a face twisted in rage. Then it happened. Her hand snapped forward. A sharp, echoing slap cracked across Maya's cheek. The sound hit the cabin like lightning. Passengers gasped. A woman covered her mouth. A man in 17A stood halfway up before his wife yanked him back down. Maya froze, eyes wide, stunned, then burst into tears, clutching her face. Marcus surged forward, voice shaking with rage he tried desperately to control. "You struck my child," he said, barely a whisper. Vanessa stepped back, not in guilt, but in audacious confidence. "I corrected her behavior. Someone had to. If you let them run wild, run wild!" Marcus's voice rose for the first time. "They're sitting quietly. They haven't caused any trouble." Vanessa crossed her arms, smirking. "Well, maybe if they looked like they belonged in public spaces, people would take them seriously." A wave of disgust rolled through the cabin. A teenage girl in 18D whispered, "Someone needs to stop her." A businessman in 19F lifted his phone higher, recording openly now. Vanessa didn't care, or maybe she didn't notice. She pointed a finger at Marcus's chest. "If you raise your voice again, I'll declare you a safety threat. The captain will divert this plane and have you dragged off in cuffs. You think anyone here will believe your little story?" Marcus stared at her, astonished. "You slapped an 8-year-old girl," he said quietly. "You think that's going unnoticed?" She leaned in, smiling with sinister sweetness. "Honey, nobody believes families who look like trouble. And trust me, the camera always catches what I say happened." That line, that evil confidence, made the entire cabin shift uncomfortably. Passengers looked at one another, at Marcus, at the girls' tear-streaked faces, and then at Vanessa, the immaculate, beautiful monster standing above them. Marcus lifted Maya into his arms as she sobbed into his neck. "We're filing a report when we land," he said softly. Vanessa laughed. "Good luck. I already filed one, accusing you of aggression. Guess whose paperwork they'll believe?" She clicked her pen, scribbling something wildly on her clipboard. Marcus felt his heart pounding, not in fear, but in a deep, righteous anger. "No more," he said, voice calm but powerful. "You will not touch my daughters again. Then control them. Now sit down and clean the mess." He didn't move. Vanessa's smile twitched. She stepped closer again, tone low and dangerous. "Don't make me call the cockpit. I'll tell the captain you threatened me. He doesn't even have to see proof. My word is enough. People like you get removed from flights all the time." This time, several passengers spoke at once. "That's enough. Stop harassing them. This is abuse. You hit a child. We saw everything." Phones were up everywhere. Vanessa spun, startled. The room had turned against her. Still, she doubled down. "All of you can put your phones away or face consequences. Recording crew is a violation of federal—" A woman shouted, "That's not true!" Vanessa's face flushed, the first crack in her confidence. Marcus sat, holding his crying daughters, as the plane buzzed with whispers, gasps, and outrage. But somewhere near row 16, a passenger quietly tapped upload, and the video began its viral flight. The cabin lights dimmed slightly as the plane leveled off, but the atmosphere inside was electric, tight, buzzing on the edge of eruption. Marcus held Maya close while Milan and Miri leaned against him, their faces still streaked with tears. His heart ached, but his mind remained sharp. He had learned long ago, in the Air Force, in NASA training, in the harsh corners of life, that reacting with fire only fed the fire. He breathed. He stayed anchored. But Vanessa, she was unraveling. Her heels clicked back up the aisle, each step angrier than the last. She reached the galley, pulled a handset from the wall, and began speaking in a voice as sweet as syrup, the type of sweetness that rots the moment you taste it. "Captain, this is Vanessa. I have a disruptive passenger refusing to comply. Yes, a male in row 30, extremely unstable. I recommend we prepare for possible restraint upon landing." Passengers gasped. She was building the lie brick by brick, with no hesitation. Marcus heard it. So did the cameras pointed at her. A woman in seat 28C stood abruptly. No, absolutely not. That's not what happened. Captain needs to hear the truth. Vanessa shot her a glare. Sit down, ma'am, unless you want to be added to the incident report. The woman folded her arms. I'm staying right here. A teenage boy in the aisle raised his phone slightly. You hit a kid. I have the video. Vanessa's jaw clenched, hard. She turned toward him like a cobra ready to strike. Delete that, now, or I'll have the federal marshals waiting for you. That recording is illegal. It's not illegal, the boy said, steady. And I'm not deleting it. Other passengers nodded. Phones were out everywhere, cameras focused on her every move. Vanessa's confidence flickered, a small, momentary dimming. She had expected silence. She had expected fear. She had expected the usual, people too afraid of missing their connection to stand up. But now the entire plane was watching her. She tried again. Everyone, for your own safety, please put away all electronic devices and remain seated. The situation is being handled. The cabin did not move. A businessman in a blazer spoke up sharply. No, you are the situation. A teenage girl added, we saw you slap that child. A mother held her infant close and said, you don't deserve that uniform. For the first time, Vanessa felt the weight of the crowd. Her posture faltered. Her lips tightened into a trembling line. But even shaken, she clung to authority the way a drowning person clings to debris. I said sit down, all of you. Sit down or what? A man near the emergency exit asked calmly. We're all witnesses. Her throat tightened. Her eyes darted nervously around. She tried to fall back on policy, the last shield she had. Recording crew members is a federal violation. Lie! 3 people said it at once. A ripple of murmurs moved through the cabin. Passengers shifted in their seats, an entire crowd refusing to be intimidated. Vanessa swallowed hard. Her palms were sweating, visible now as she wiped them on her uniform skirt. Marcus finally stood. He placed Maya gently in her sister's arms and stepped into the aisle. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't threaten. He didn't rage. He just spoke with a quiet, powerful calm that cut deeper than any yell ever could. Stop lying. Vanessa flinched. Marcus continued. You assaulted my daughter. You humiliated my family. And now you're trying to flip the truth because you think people will believe you over us. Her lips parted, but no sound came. For 10 minutes, I let your cruelty slide because I wanted to protect my girls, Marcus said. But I'm not staying silent anymore. The passengers murmured, nodding. Marcus looked around the cabin, meeting every gaze. Thank you, he told them softly, for standing up for my daughters, for the truth. A few people clapped. Others nodded with warm, supportive eyes. Vanessa's face hardened, humiliated, exposed, furious. You think this little show means anything? Once we land, you're the one who will be removed, not me. You don't have any authority here. Marcus held her stare. You're right, he said calmly. On this plane, I don't. He then touched the NASA patch on his jacket, just lightly, just enough for her eyes to follow the motion. Her expression froze. Passengers noticed, too. Whispers spread. Is that real? That looks like an official mission patch. Wait, isn't that the jacket astronauts wear? Oh, God, did she slap an astronaut's kid? Vanessa's face drained of color. Marcus sat back down beside his daughters, gathering them close. Across the aisle, a final upload progress bar reached 100%. The internet had just received its spark. Isaiah 54:17 NIV. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and you will refute every tongue that accuses you. A perfect verse in this moment. The truth is rising, and every lie spoken against the Hale family is beginning to crumble. The wheels touched down with a hard jolt, but the tension inside the cabin was harder. Marcus held his daughters close as the plane taxied toward the gate. Maya's cheeks still glowed red from the slap. Milan kept wiping her eyes. Miri hugged her knees to her chest. Passengers watched them with sympathy and outrage, their phones still recording, still uploading. Vanessa stood rigid in the front galley, earbuds in, radioing the captain every few seconds with the confidence of someone who believed she owned the truth. "Yes, Captain." He continued being aggressive. "Yes, I feared for my safety. Yes, prepare security." The cabin erupted in whispers of disgust. She's lying again. She's about to ruin an innocent man. She hit a child. We saw everything. Still she continued, head held high, hair immaculate, voice dripping with calm authority. I followed protocol. He was hostile. The girls were uncontrollable. "Yes, sir. I'll provide a written statement." The plane stopped. The seatbelt sign turned off. But no one moved, because waiting at the gate were 3 airport security officers and 1 airline supervisor, standing in the jet bridge with clipboards and stern expressions. Vanessa smirked. Perfect timing. She strode down the aisle confidently, stopping just 2 rows before reaching Marcus. "Everyone stay seated. We'll be removing a disruptive passenger first." Gasps filled the cabin. Phones rose like a wall of witnesses. Vanessa pointed down the aisle. "Security? It's him. Row 30, the man in the NASA jacket. He threatened me and refused direct orders. The children were out of control." One of the officers nodded and approached. But something unexpected happened. A young gate agent, barely out of training with a lanyard still too shiny, slipped past them and came inside the plane. He squinted down the aisle. His eyes locked onto Marcus's NASA patch, then widened. He whispered under his breath, "No, wait, is that Dr. Marcus Hale?" He moved faster, brushing past Vanessa with zero acknowledgement. "Sir," he said breathlessly, "it's really you, isn't it? You're Dr. Hale, the NASA mission specialist for Artemis 3? Marcus nodded softly. "Yes, but that's not important right now." The young agent nearly choked. "Oh no, sir. It's very important. The entire terminal is preparing for your arrival. NASA called ahead. They needed confirmation you were on board." Vanessa froze mid-breath. Passengers lit up in whispers. I knew that jacket was real. Oh, she's done. She's absolutely done. She slapped the child of a NASA astronaut. He's not just an astronaut. He's a mission specialist. That's an American hero. Security officers slowed their approach, uncertain now. The supervisor blinked, confused. "Wait, are we detaining a NASA official?" Marcus gently shifted Maya in his arms. "My daughter was assaulted. Multiple passengers recorded it." Vanessa burst forward. "He's lying. He's lying. He's dangerous. The teenage boy in 18D held up his phone. "Actually, we filmed everything." A chorus followed. "So did we. And we uploaded it. It's already online." Security stiffened. The supervisor's face drained of color. "Upload?" she whispered. The young gate agent nodded urgently. "It's trending already. It has 3 million views in 10 minutes. Vanessa stepped back as though slapped herself. "No! No, that's impossible! You can't post—" The supervisor cut her off. "Vanessa, step forward." Her voice had changed, clipped, hard. Vanessa obeyed slowly, hands trembling. "We need your statement," the supervisor said, "immediately." Vanessa straightened, grasping for one last piece of control. "They're manipulating the story. I was protecting the cabin. He was a threat." Security interrupted. "Ma'am, we've already reviewed passenger video. You struck a child." Her jaw dropped open, stunned. Then Marcus stood, his daughters clinging to his sides. He walked down the aisle, each step heavy but composed. Passengers applauded quietly, respectfully as he passed. He didn't look at Vanessa. He didn't need to. She whispered, voice breaking, "Please, you don't understand. I didn't mean... Marcus paused, just briefly. "I hope you one day understand what power is supposed to look like," he said softly, "because it was never what you used today." Security took Vanessa gently by the arm. Not violently, not cruelly, just firmly. Her mask of superiority shattered. The triplets watched as the woman who terrorized them was escorted down the jet bridge, small now, trembling, exposed. The young gate agent approached. Marcus again, voice steady with reverence. "Sir, NASA asked me to tell you, they're proud of how you handled this." Marcus swallowed the lump in his throat. He hugged his daughters close. The cabin exhaled as one. Truth had landed. If you have ever been falsely accused, silenced, or mistreated by someone who believed their status made them untouchable, then what happens next with Dr. Marcus Hale will make your heart tremble with justice. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay with Dignity Voices as this story reaches its powerful turning point. Because while Vanessa was being removed, the real shock was waiting at the terminal. The jet bridge hummed with low voices as passengers stepped off the plane, some shaking their heads, some whispering indignantly, others still clutching their phones as if the device itself were evidence. But at the very center of the terminal, right where the jet bridge opened, a small crowd had already formed. Gate agents, airport staff, random travelers, all staring at the screens on their phones. The video of Vanessa slapping Maya was everywhere. The thumbnail itself burned like a brand. Flight attendant slaps child. Passengers record everything. The comment count climbed by the second. Marcus emerged at the top of the jet bridge holding Maya, with Milan and Miri at his sides. The young gate agent hurried ahead, clearing space. A gasp rippled through the waiting crowd, a soft collective intake of breath. That's them? That's the family from the video. Oh my God. Those poor girls. Is the little one okay? Marcus kept his gaze forward. He didn't bask in sympathy. He didn't posture for cameras. He simply walked, carrying his daughter as if she weighed nothing. Behind him, Vanessa was escorted out by two security officers. Her hair was disheveled now, her lipstick smudged, her confidence shattered. She kept glancing at the crowd, and every glance stabbed her with the cold truth. People weren't looking at her with admiration. They were looking at her with disgust. The supervisor walked behind her, jaw clenched, expression grim. She knew what this meant. The airline knew what this meant. As Marcus reached the terminal floor, a sharp voice cut through the crowd. "Dr. Hale, sir, over here!" A tall man in a blue NASA windbreaker pushed through the bystanders. His ID badge swung from his neck. Randall Kent, NASA Liaison Director. His face was full of urgency, respect, and worry. "Dr. Hale, thank God you're all right," he said, stopping just short of him as if approaching royalty. "We've been trying to confirm details since the video surfaced. Headquarters is aware. The administrator is aware. And," he lowered his voice, "Mission Control is watching everything." A wave of murmurs spread across the terminal. NASA? Mission Control? Who is this man? Vanessa stumbled as she was led past them, her eyes widening in horror as she realized she had not assaulted just a dad. She had assaulted the children of a NASA mission specialist, a national figure. Randall knelt to eye level with Maya, speaking softly. "Sweetheart, I'm so sorry someone hurt you. You didn't deserve that." Maya's voice was a small tremble. She said, "We didn't belong here." Randall's jaw tightened. "Oh, sweetheart, you belong everywhere, and don't you ever let anyone tell you otherwise." He stood and turned to Marcus. "Sir, the FAA wants statements. The airline's legal department is already scrambling, and," he checked his watch, "you should know the White House press office has requested preliminary information. This incident is about to become national." Milan's hand gripped Marcus's jacket. "Daddy, are we in trouble?" "No, baby," Marcus said gently. "Not anymore." The supervisor stepped forward reluctantly, holding a tablet, her voice trying to remain steady. "Dr. Hale, on behalf of the airline, I want to apologize." Randall raised a hand sharply. "No, he's not speaking with your airline directly, not without legal counsel present, and not without agency clearance." The supervisor gulped. "But we just want to—" "You've wanted enough," Randall snapped, You didn't protect this family on the plane. You won't get to control the narrative here." Behind them, Vanessa broke. She lunged forward slightly, voice cracking. "I didn't know. I didn't know who he was. If I had known, Marcus turned slowly. What he said next was quiet, but devastating. "You shouldn't have needed to know who I was." Vanessa's face crumpled. You don't understand. I was under pressure and they—" "No one pressured you to slap a child," Marcus said calmly. Security gently shifted her back. Her pleas dissolved into desperate whispers. Passengers watching whispered among themselves, "She's done. She's absolutely finished. They'll never let her fly again. She did this to herself." A reporter shouted from behind the security cordon, "Dr. Hale, did you suffer injuries? Will NASA be issuing a statement? Do you plan to sue? Is this a racial incident? Have your children been treated by medical staff? What's your message to the public?" Cameras flashed, news alerts pinged. Airport PA announcements were drowned out by a rising flood of voices. Marcus exhaled. He wasn't used to the public eye. Even as a decorated mission specialist, he kept a low profile, believing humility was the mark of true excellence. He looked down at his girls, 3 sets of trembling eyes relying on him for safety. He touched Maya's bruised cheek, kissed her forehead, and made his choice. He stepped forward, standing tall despite exhaustion and pain. "To everyone watching, I'm not here to attack the airline. I'm not here to ruin anyone's career," he began. Vanessa flinched behind security, disbelief in her eyes. "He wasn't attacking her?" Marcus continued. "I'm here to make one thing clear. No child, anywhere, under any circumstances, deserves to be treated like mine were today." The crowd murmured. Cameras zoomed in. "My daughters were quiet, respectful, innocent, but someone saw them as less. Someone saw us as less." He didn't raise his voice. His calmness made the words heavier. "That ends today. Not just for them, for every family who's ever been mistreated, ignored, or dismissed." Randall stood behind him like a pillar of support. The airline supervisor bowed her head. Even security listened. Marcus added, "I want change, not revenge." A hush fell, the kind of silence that only follows truth spoken plainly. Behind him, Maya whispered, "Daddy, can we go home?" He lifted her into his arms. "Yes, baby," he murmured. "We're going somewhere much safer than this." Randall approached again. "Sir, we've arranged a private transport. NASA wants you and the girls taken directly to the secure lounge. You'll be met by agency medical staff, legal counsel, and administration officials." Marcus nodded. Then, as they began walking away, the crowd parted with reverence, as if witnessing a hero returning from battle. Passengers reached out with soft words. "We're so sorry. You handled it with grace. Your girls are strong, sir. God bless your family." The girls held his hands tightly. He led them through the terminal. Not as a victim, not as a headline, but as a father protecting his daughters from the storm. And the storm was only beginning. Because behind them, the airline's crisis team was already gathering. Legal advisors were on emergency calls. The CEO had been notified, and the federal aviation authorities had launched an immediate review. Truth had become unstoppable, and Vanessa's lies had begun to crumble into dust. The private NASA transport moved swiftly through the service corridors of the airport, escorting Marcus and the triplets into a secured lounge. Frosted glass walls, soft lighting, uniformed personnel standing guard. But the real storm was gathering just beyond those doors. Inside the secure suite, Maya sat curled in Marcus's lap while Milan and Miri leaned against his sides. Agency medical staff gently examined the girls, a camera flashless environment. No reporters, no noise, just quiet. A soft knock sounded. Randall Kent re-entered, holding a tablet filled with unread notifications. "Dr. Hale," he said, dropping into a chair. "The video is now the #1 trending clip in the country. It's on every platform. Every news station has broken into programming." Marcus exhaled, eyes on his daughters. "I didn't want all this," he murmured. I just wanted to get them home. Randall nodded, sympathetically, but the truth has a way of refusing to stay quiet. He glanced at the girls before continuing. Sir, the airline CEO is flying here personally. He wants to meet with you, immediately. Marcus frowned. I'm not interested in apologies designed for headlines. And that's why he's terrified, Randall replied. Because the country already sees what happened, and they're already choosing sides. Another knock. This time, the airport supervisor stepped inside, not with arrogance, but with trembling hands. Dr. Hale, we need to take statements from all three of you and from passengers who recorded the incident. We also have the flight attendant, Vanessa Lorne, in custody pending investigation. She hesitated, then added softly, She is completely uncooperative. Marcus nodded. I'll give my statement, but I want the girls to rest first. Of course, sir. Anything you need. As she left, the weight of everything pressed into the room. Marcus leaned back, eyes closed briefly. He whispered a verse he learned from his mother, one that had carried him through boot camp, NASA selection, and life's quiet battles. For there is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be made known. Luke 12:2, NIV. The words settled over him like armor. While Marcus remained in the secure lounge, another battlefield was forming upstairs, a large glass conference room inside the airport's executive suite. Inside it, the airline CEO, Richard Grayson, the VP of Operations, the Director of Crew Conduct Legal Teams, FAA liaisons, PR managers tapping frantically on laptops, screens showing the viral video on loop, the slap, the insults, the threats, the humiliation, every second of Vanessa's cruelty magnified. The CEO slammed a hand on the table. Where was the crew report? A manager stammered. Vanessa filed a statement saying Dr. Hale was aggressive. And yet every passenger says the opposite. His voice boomed. She assaulted a child, on camera. And we didn't stop her? We didn't intervene? Another manager shuffled through papers. Sir, she's denied everything. She insists the video is edited. Edited? He practically yelled. There are 10 different angles, someone whispered. And he's a NASA mission specialist, sir. Silence. The CEO sat heavily, rubbing his temples. This is catastrophic. The director of PR leaned forward. To be brutally honest, this is brand extinction level, if not handled correctly. Phone screens glowed around the room as headlines kept popping. Flight attendant slaps child of NASA hero. Crew member caught in violent outburst. Racial misconduct under federal review. FAA officials cleared their throats. We are opening an accelerated inquiry. Full records, full logs, full access. Failure to comply means federal sanctions. The CEO swallowed. Get Dr. Hale in here, now, and get his children whatever they need. The lounge doors opened slowly as Marcus entered the executive conference room holding Maya's hand. Milan and Miri walked close beside him. Every executive stood immediately, not in politeness, but in reverence. Marcus, still calm, still steady, looked like a man carved from dignity itself. The CEO approached him, hands trembling. Dr. Hale, I am deeply ashamed. What happened on that flight? Marcus raised a quiet hand. Spare the speech. The CEO froze. Marcus continued. I'm not here to hear apologies. I'm here to ensure no parent, ever, goes through what we did. Silence rippled through the room. You have a systemic problem, Marcus said. Your training failed. Your oversight failed. Your accountability failed. He looked around the table, eyes sharp, and your employee, empowered by your system, believed she could assault children and be protected. Executives lowered their heads. Randall, standing behind Marcus, folded his arms. Proud. The CEO stepped forward, voice trembling. Dr. Hale, tell us what you want. Anything. We'll comply. Marcus nodded slowly. Then he spoke words that stunned the entire room. "I don't want a payout." The legal department blinked hard. "I don't want hush money. I don't want a settlement." He looked at Maya's bruised cheek, and the room held its breath. "I want change." He placed his hand gently on Maya's back and continued. "You will implement a mandatory anti-bias training program. You will create a passenger dignity department. You will add independent oversight to all crew misconduct reports. And you will install a system where families can report incidents directly, without fear of retaliation." Milan and Miri squeezed his hands. "And one more thing," Marcus added. The CEO swallowed. "Yes, sir? You will fund a national STEM scholarship program for girls, especially girls of color. It will be named in honor of my daughters." A murmur rose. Not outrage, not hesitation. Admiration. The CEO placed his hand over his heart. "Dr. Hale, it will be done. Every word, every condition." Security led Vanessa into the conference room next, wrists not bound, but dignity completely shattered. Her eyes were red from crying. She saw Marcus, then the triplets, then the executives. Her lips parted. I didn't mean to. I was just stressed. They were..." Marcus stepped forward. "Children," he said gently. They were children. Something inside Vanessa seemed to break. "I'm sorry," she whispered, tears streaming. "I was wrong." Marcus didn't gloat, didn't sneer, didn't humiliate her. He simply said, "I hope you learn from this, truly." Security removed her quietly, not dragged, not mocked, just removed. And that, mercy, coming from the man she tormented, made half the room choke back emotion. When Marcus and the girls finally stepped outside into the terminal again, hundreds of passengers and staff stood waiting. Reporters held microphones low out of respect, not aggression. Passengers applauded softly as the triplets walked past, honoring them. Someone whispered, "That's what quiet strength looks like." Another murmured, "That's how real heroes behave." A woman near the ropes whispered over her tears, "God bless you, Dr. Hale, and your daughters." Marcus smiled faintly. His daughters smiled too, small, tired smiles, but real. Justice had begun, not loud, not perfect, but real. 3 months passed, enough time for wounds to fade into tender memories, enough time for the world to shift, visibly and invisibly. The airport felt different the moment Marcus and the triplets stepped inside, not physically. The walls were the same, the escalators humming, the departure screens flickering with time zones, but the spirit of the place had changed. It felt gentler, more aware, more human. Large banners hung from the ceiling. The Hale Triplets STEM Scholarship, empowering girls to reach the stars. Underneath it, a photograph of Maya, Milan, and Miri smiling shyly in matching NASA jackets, their bruises long gone, their confidence restored. A second banner stretched across the walkway. Passenger Dignity Charter, inspired by the Hale family. That wasn't PR. That wasn't branding. That was change. Real, grounded change, born from pain that refused to stay silent. As the family approached the concourse, employees paused to wave, smile, or bow their heads respectfully. One older gate agent placed a hand over her heart when she saw the girls. "Bless you, sweethearts," she whispered. "We've all been rooting for you." The girls smiled shyly and waved back. No fear, no shrinking, just soft warmth. Marcus squeezed their hands gently. Across the terminal, the airline CEO and several executives waited near Gate 47. Their posture wasn't stiff. Their energy wasn't corporate. They looked grateful, human. "Dr. Hale," the CEO greeted, bowing slightly. "Welcome. We've been preparing something very special for your daughters." Behind him, a crew stood at attention. A pilot, 2 flight attendants, and a technician, all wearing a new badge on their uniforms. Respect takes flight. This was not a slogan. This was accountability stitched in fabric. One of the flight attendants stepped forward, kneeling down with a warm smile. "Girls, would you like to come see the cockpit?" All three froze, eyes widening with a mix of awe and disbelief. Maya whispered, "Us? Really?" "Really," the attendant said. "We've been waiting for you." Milan squeezed her father's hand. "Daddy? Can we?" Marcus nodded. "Go on, baby. The sky is yours today." They scampered toward the jet bridge, little sneakers tapping against the floor while Marcus followed at a slower, thoughtful pace. The cockpit doors swung open, revealing a breathtaking world of blinking lights, digital screens, overhead panels, and the soft hum of electricity. It was like stepping into the future. The pilot knelt down. "Which one of you is sitting in my chair first?" Miri's hand shot up. "Me!" He lifted her gently into the captain's seat. Her feet dangled, but her spirit soared. Maya and Milan climbed into the co-pilot seats, eyes round, mouths open, breath held in awe. "These controls," the pilot explained, "they're not toys. They're dreams. And one day, you'll handle them better than any of us." Maya whispered, "I want to fly to the moon someday." Milan added, "I want to build rockets." Miri chimed in, "I want to ride in Daddy's spaceship." The cockpit burst into soft laughter. Marcus leaned against the doorway, watching his daughters as if watching the future unfold in real time. The very space where they had once been scolded, belittled, forced to stand, was now the place lifting them up. Healing wasn't loud. It was gentle. It was moments like this, small but eternal. Back in the gate area, a crowd had gathered. Not chaotic, not frenzied, respectful, hopeful, moved. Media were present but silent. Airport staff, passengers, students, even pilots on break. They filled the terminal with a quiet reverence. On a small stage stood a digital podium with one glowing button. The airline CEO cleared his throat. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, "today marks the beginning of a new chapter in aviation and an opportunity." He looked at the triplets with genuine softness. "These young girls inspired us to transform from the inside out. And today, we launch the Hale Triplet STEM Scholarship, opening doors for 500 young girls each year, especially girls of color from underserved communities, to pursue futures in science, engineering, and aviation." The crowd erupted in applause. The triplets held hands. They didn't hide behind their father. They stood in front of him, brave, bright, unbroken. "Maya, Milan, Miri," the CEO said, "would you do the honor of launching the program?" Miri stepped forward first. Her tiny finger hovered above the glowing button. She turned back to look at Marcus. "Daddy, will this help other girls like us?" "It will help thousands," Marcus whispered. "And one day, those girls will help millions." Miri nodded and pressed the button. A soft chime echoed. Screens lit up. The entire terminal filled with celebratory graphics. And in that moment, 3 little girls changed the fate of generations. After the ceremony, Marcus led his daughters toward the terminal windows overlooking the runway. They watched a plane lift into the sky, powerful, steady, rising with grace. "Daddy," Maya whispered, pressing her forehead to the glass. "Is it scary up there?" Marcus shook his head gently. "No, baby. Up there it's peaceful. The world seems smaller, and the stars feel closer." Milan asked, "You think we'll fly there someday?" Marcus looked at each of them, their hopeful eyes, their brave hearts, their unbroken spirits. "I think," he said softly, "that you'll go further than I ever could." The girls leaned into him. Together they stood in the light, not as victims, not as headlines, not as the family from the viral video, but as the Hale family, strong, restored, and rising. The sky once terrified them. Now it welcomed them, and the world, for once, felt ready to catch them if they leapt. This story ends not with punishment, but transformation. Dr. Marcus Hale didn't demand revenge. He demanded a better world for the daughters he loved. His quiet strength reshaped an airline, inspired a national movement, and turned pain into purpose. He proved that dignity is not reclaimed through rage, but through courage, clarity, and compassion. True justice isn't loud, it's steady, patient, and rooted in love. When dignity is attacked, the greatest victory comes not from retaliation, but from rising higher and lifting others with you. This final act completes one of the strongest emotional arcs in your entire series. A father's love rewrote an entire system. A family's courage inspired nationwide change. This is cinematic justice at its best. Intimate, powerful, unforgettable. The Hale family's journey echoes deeply through Scripture, where God repeatedly affirms His care for the oppressed, His defense of the innocent, and His promise to lift those crushed by injustice. When Marcus shielded his daughters from cruelty, he lived out. Psalm 46:1 NIV. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. He became a shelter for them, just as God shelters us. Calm in the storm, unwavering in the winds of crew. If this story moved you, if you believe dignity should never be negotiable, if you've ever seen injustice and wished someone would finally stand up for what's right, then you're in the right place. Here at Dignity Voices, we tell real, powerful, soul-shaking stories that honor Black resilience, Black excellence, and the courage it takes to rise above oppression. Like this video, subscribe to Dignity Voices, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the next story of justice, hope, and quiet power. Your support helps these stories reach the people who need them most. Join the movement, join the family, join Dignity Voices.